What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. And as you can tell by the title, this one is my predictions for the 2017-18 championship. So the three teams I predict that will come in the bottom three, the relegation zone, in the championship this season are Bolton to come bottom, Burton to come 22nd, and Millwall just to drop in on the last few days, or even on the last day, I think. Bolton, I think last time they was in the championship, they was not there. The team was shocking. They was all over the place, and I think it's going to be the same this time round for them. I'd like them to stay in the championship because they are an alright club. I like them as a club, but the team's not there to compete in this division. Burton, I think, shocked everyone last season. Everyone would have had them would have predicted them to go down, but they did well, and you've got to give them credit for that. But I don't think Nigel Clough has brought in that many people to help them stay up. So I think Burton Albion will be the second team to go down, and Millwall, I just think Neil Harris has done well with them to get them out of that league. Obviously, we Forest play them on Friday night, and I think it will be a tough test for us, but that's what they're going to try and set up. They're going to try and set up and be like a tough team to beat, and sometimes that can work for you or against you, and I think this year it's going to work against them. They're going to get opened up many times this season, and I think that's why they're going to be the third team to go down. So now it's 21st to 13th in the league. Obviously, this the first few positions in this is obviously going to matter because they'll be ones fighting relegation, but the teams above them, they're not going to have much of a anything to do in the season. It's just going to be a mid-table, bog standard side. And I think the three teams that are going to escape relegation are Bristol City, QPR and Barnsley. Bristol City, I think they did well also last season, in the mid part, but then started to decline a bit, and obviously they had Abraham last season. He's gone now, so I think they're going to find it hard to score goals, and that's why they're going to just be scraping relegation. QPR, there was obviously same last season. They've struggled a lot, just like Forest. We have to hold my hands up for that, and I think they're going to be exactly the same under Ian Holloway again. They're just going to find it hard this season, especially with the new teams coming down and the money being spent in the championship. They can't keep up with that. And Barnsley, they shocked everyone last season, just like Burton did. A lot of people would have expected them to either go down or just escape relegation, and they didn't. It was pushing 12th, that range. I can't remember where they came in the end, but yeah, it was around there. And I think they did very well last season, but I think they're going to struggle this season. And the teams above Barnsley from 18th to 13th are going to be Sheffield United, Cardiff, Preston, Ipswich, Brentford and Hull. I think Sheffield United, they've done well to get out of the division. They've done very well actually, and but I think they'll do well this season. They're going to shock a few teams. Write that in your notes, trust me. They'll shock a few teams this season because they're a tough side to beat, but they're going to find it hard-ish. Cardiff, they've done well, but like I said, the money being thrown around the championship these days, people like Cardiff can't compete, and it's hard for them. At 16th, I've got Preston, obviously, and Preston, although their recruitment's been good, they've lost quite a few players, and apparently Hugill may be going as well, whether that's Birmingham or whoever else. But I think Preston will have just a bog standard season. They'll beat a few of the big teams, get a few points against the low teams, but I think they'll struggle against the people in and around them. That's where I think they're going to lose the points. Ipswich, I predict to come 15th, just because they're going to be bog standard. They're hard to beat, but not going to score many goals. And 14th, I think Brentford. They had a very good season last season, and arguably, in my opinion, there was the best footballing side I've seen at the City Ground. Whether they can continue that this season, I don't know. I don't think they can, but if they do, they'll be pushing higher than 14th. But if they can't, then they're going to be finding it in and around that area of mid-table, because they've not spent that much this season, and it's going to be hard, especially if Jota goes. And 13th, Hull just came down from the Premier League. They're not that good. Obviously, their team on paper is very good, but everyone thought that about Villa last season and thought that Villa would be pushing top 6, but they struggled last season. I think Hull are going to struggle this season, obviously under a new manager, and yeah, I think Hull are going to struggle this season, which could be a problem. Now, between 12th and 7th, so the teams that just find it into the top half of the table and the teams that just miss out on the playoffs. In 12th, I've got my boy Forest, 11th Birmingham, 10th Leeds, 9th Sunderland, 8th Derby and 7th Norwich. I think Forest recruited very well this season. Obviously the Brit money is going to help us bring in hopefully 1 or 2 more signings. I think Warburton's on about, but we've already got in 4 or 5 quality signings in my opinion, and I think they're going to help us make a foundation for this season, so then we can push on next season, hopefully go for the playoffs. But if we get if the team starts to click and teams can't touch us, then we'll have a good season and push him to the playoffs, but I don't think we will. Birmingham under Harry Redknapp, obviously a lot of talk about Ashley Cole, Robbie Keane coming, Stuart Downing. If they get them players, then they're going to have a very good season, but I can't see him getting them really. But I think Harry Redknapp and his tactics are going to help them push forward, because he's a quality manager and he should be managing in the Premier League. Leeds at 10th. They had a very good season under Gary Monk last season, until they obviously got rid of him. And Leeds was one of the standout performers last season. No one expected them to do what they did, and they did it. And you got to take your hat off to them. But this season under a new manager, I don't think they'll do no better as well. 9th, Sunderland, obviously coming down from the Premier League, came rock bottom last season. They've lost Pickford, Defoe. They're going to find it hard this season, just like I said, Hull will. A lot of people think that Premier League boys should automatically be in the top 6, and it don't work like that. As long as you spend the money, then it does. But if you don't, then it's going to be hard, because the Premier League players trying to adapt to the Championship is very hard. They don't know the determination and grit of the people like Bolton and Burton, who are going to be in around the relegation zone. They're going to give them scraps, and whether they're up for them scraps, I don't know. 8th, I put Derby. Obviously, as a Forest fan, I don't like to put Derby ahead of us, but I have to this time round, just because the team on paper is very good in the Championship. Gary Rowett's a decent manager. I'd have liked him at Forest, but I think his recruitment's not been that good this season. Obviously he's brought in Wisdom, but it could have been a lot better. Huddleston and Davis as well. I just think if he would have made a few more additions, quality additions, they would have been definitely in the top 6. And the team to just miss out on the playoffs this season is Norwich. I just think they've got a Premier League, a low Premier League team on paper, high Championship team on paper, and I think they're going to find it heartbreaking not to make the playoffs, but it'll give them a foundation for next season, hopefully to push on for the top 3 or 4. So the teams that make the playoffs are Wolves, Reading, Wednesday and Fulham, and that is the order from 6th to 3rd. Wolves, they've spent a ridiculous amount of money this season, bringing in Ruben Neves, Bowley, Ruddy, the lot of them. It's just an endless list, and I think all them quality players are just going to add to what they already had there. I'm not saying they had a very good team there, but they had a decent team. I think them players are going to add to that team, and they'll push on for the playoffs. Reading obviously played very well last season under Yapstam, and I think they'll do it again this season. That's why I've got them coming at 5th. You can't really say much about that. 4th, I've got Sheffield Wednesday. They've been there and thereabouts for the past 3 seasons, but they've just never had the cutting edge to win the playoffs or even push on to the automatic places. But I think this season they'll consolidate the playoff spot, and I think they'll get to Wembley. Whether they win it or not, I'm not sure, but I think they will be the finalists at Wembley. 3rd, I've got Fulham. Obviously, it shocked a lot of people last season again, like many teams did last season, and they were one of the standout performers again. And I think they could do that this season, but push on even further and come 3rd. Behind, obviously, the top 2, they'd be gutted, and hopefully they will push in the top 2 to put them under pressure, but I'm not sure. Hopefully they will, because it will just make it a more competitive league. But yeah, I've got Fulham coming in at 3rd. Now your top 2, I bet you can guess it. It's Middlesbrough 2nd and Villa to win the league. Middlesbrough, because they've just spent a ridiculous amount of money. Sombalonga 50 million, Braithwaite, Ashley Fletcher, Johnny House, and a lot of them have all come in for Middlesbrough. I think they're all quality signings personally, and it's only going to make the squad stronger. Obviously come down from the Premier League, so technically they've got a Premier League squad, and I think the players that they've added to him, such as Sombalonga, are just going to make that squad even better and better, and they're going to smash a lot of teams this season. Villa have got to go up as the champions to go straight up ahead of Middlesbrough. Give them a fight, but I think they'll just have the cutting edge going forward, because the people they've brought in, like Terry, Samba, Landbury last season, Hurahan, Bree, they've got a very good team in the Championship, and that's only going to help them. And I I think they will win the Championship this season. Obviously, a lot of people would have predicted them to do it last season, but they found it hard, like a Premier League team adapting to it. But now they've adapted it and added more quality players to that team. I think the only way has got to be automatic promotion for them this season. They can't go for the playoffs. They can't aim for nowhere like that. They've got to be top two. And personally, I think they'll win the league just because the quality of football they'll play will be Premier League, and in my opinion, they'll win the league. And that's going to be it for today's video. If you've liked, then drop a like below. Subscribe if you haven't for like more of these videos, Championship roundups every week, Forest like news and everything. And until then, see ya.